Hey everybody, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It is Fresh Catch Friday, and as always, we start out with our picks of the week, and our boy Cass here always leads us off. What did you find?
Okay, so kind of a bunch of things here. Recently, Warp Records put out these unearthed Peel sessions and just different live sessions of a lot of different electronic groups on their label. And my favorite one by far was the Boards of Canada one, Peel Sessions 2. Boards of Canada, excellent techno IDM group. I think they're from England. And this is really interesting because the track on here, the fourth track, XYZ, is unreleased, and it's actually one of the best songs they've ever written. It's really good. It was performed just for this live set. So really interesting if you're a Boards of Canada fan just for that fact alone. And yeah, basically all these live sessions are all 4 tracks. They're all out on like a different kind of color scheme, really cool.
Is it colored vinyl?
It's not, unfortunately. They're all black.
Okay.
But like I said, this is the Boards one. This one's $18.95. They're all $18.95. This is the Seafeel one, another one of my favorite electronic groups. They're a little shoegazy too. We like that. And we have Plaid as their set. Aphex Twin one. This is probably going to be the biggest seller. But I listened to this one this morning. It's actually my least favorite of the bunch. Just because I think it's not, he didn't choose the most interesting songs of his catalog for the 4 songs, but still pretty cool if you're an Aphex Twin fan. And Oneohtrix Point Never had one, surprisingly. He's a very newer electronic artist, so pretty cool to hear him. He's usually more in like the progressive, electronic-y sort of sound, so really interesting to hear this. Really cool. And like I said, they're all in these really cool colors. I almost just want to get out every single one of them, but
Is that all there's going to be? Just those 5?
there's another 3 or 4 that I didn't order. There's a Flying Lotus one.
Oh, why didn't you order
And
that?
I just missed it. I don't know, when I was on the orders, I just didn't see it. I kind of pissed about it, but I'll order it next time, so we'll get that one in. There's a few others too, I can't remember the names. But
Yeah, it's nice.
there's a bunch of them, they're really cool. So, and I think Warp put out this huge box set where you can get every single one all in one that looked really cool, but of course it's probably like $200. But
Yeah.
check it out if you're a fan of electronic music. So
Good one. Okay. You know, I was kind of struggling because usually if I'm doing a pick of the week, I kind of like it to be something that's like new material. But, you know, I just had to do this because this is a reissue. Hasn't been on vinyl since like 2011. And this is the solo album from Mark Hollis. You know, the sorry deceased frontman from Talk Talk. And, you know, if you like distinctive voices, you can't miss this guy ever, right? It's
That's
like
right.
nobody sounded like him. Anyway, this album originally was released in 1998, and this is its new vinyl reissue. This is his only solo release, and after it was originally planned to be the follow-up to Talk Talk's 1991 masterpiece, Laughing Stock, and it received its first vinyl pressing in 2011. Anyway, piano and guitar pretty much are the bones of this piece, and he is like, okay, so the opener of this album is called The Color of Spring. That's a nod back to a Talk Talk album, and it's the other song, Westward Bound. It's like the only instrumentation you hear under Hollis's singing is that guitar and piano. The silence itself is as important to the songs as everything else. It's kind of like what he leaves out is just as much adds to what he puts in. It's kind of it's hard to understand that just by saying it, but when you listen to it, you'll know what we're talking about, right? Yeah. It's like, yeah. Okay, and the thing about this collection of songs is like the real sense of intimacy. It's like, remember how we just always were talking to you guys about that Prince microphone and piano record? Same thing with this. It's almost like you feel like you're right in the studio with him, and you can hear his chair creaking on a couple of songs with this, which is like awesome. I love that kind of really warmth, that it's just that kind of thing. Anyway, he did actually record this in the last couple of songs. I think he worked with as many backing musicians on this album as he did with I'm sorry, my notes. The final Talk Talk albums had a lot of backing musicians.
Yeah, of
this
course.
one does too. But you know what? Sometimes you don't even notice them. It's almost like you feel like he's alone, and sometimes you get the feeling where it's almost like he wandered off, and it's so wow. It's
but
really,
it takes over.
Yeah, but it's pretty amazing, actually. You need to listen to this. And if you love like distinctive voices, or if you just miss Mark Hollis and you loved him in Talk Talk, this is very different from that kind of stuff. It's very emotional. But there is, okay, this is It's considered a lost classic. This is reissued on heavyweight vinyl, remastered at Abbey Road, and it has the original artwork, the printed inner sleeve, and the lyrics and credits. So sometimes that was the other thing with Hollis. He would, as his career progressed, he got more and more into quiet singing. And you should look that up sometime because, well, you probably know this. It's so hard to sing quietly. It's just not easy, and you got to be really trained to be able to do that. Well, anyway, sometimes Hollis used to get so quiet, the lyrics were unintelligible. But anyway, they're in here for you so you can follow along if that's what you want to do. This is $26.95, and I'm really glad they reissued
Awesome.
this.
I definitely think it's like more, if you're a big Talk Talk fan, it definitely doesn't sound like the early work. It's very in tune with those last two records, Spirit of Eden and Laughing Stock, where it's like, he recorded it with a bunch of session musicians, very experimental, and like you said, that open space he kind of leaves definitely reminds me of those last Talk Talk albums, where it's not about filling the space all the time, it's not about like hooks or anything, there's a lot of silence, and the drumming I think reminds me a lot of those albums too, very jazzy, very light, not big snare hits, fills or anything, it's just cymbals, and it's really great, very
It's lovely album.
ambient stuff.
Yeah,
really good.
so glad it's here. All right, did you have something else you wanted to showcase?
Yes, not really much in the way of new music from this week, but we got some new metal albums that are out that I really have been enjoying. These all came out at different points in the year, but Gilead Media just put them out on black vinyl. They were out on colored before that were very hard to get. I'm still trying to find them for myself, but now they're on black vinyl. First one, Yellow Eyes, New York black metal band. One of my favorites of the year. This is a really interesting abstract black metal record. One of the best album covers I've seen this year too. Really great. Check that out. You also have False, Portent is the album. Another black metal album. These are all black metal records. This is very Emperor inspired with some synths, some very shrill trebly guitars, very old school. Still digging it a lot. The album cover was also the same guy that did the album cover of Bell Witch, if you remember that, and he's I think he's going to be the next sought-after metal album cover guy because his style is very, very distinct. I could tell instantly it was him. So check that out. These are both $20.99, by the way, as is this one, Fall of Rhoros. This is a more atmospheric black metal record. Definitely paints pictures and landscapes. It's a very nature-themed black metal record. Really good, a little shoegazy as well. Really like this one too. This one and the Yellow Eyes record, two of my favorite metal releases of the year. So check them out, please. They're really, really cool. And like I said, $20.99.
Good one. All right. I thought I would just mention this to you. I thought it was worth a mention. This is Milky Chance, Mind the Moon, on Muggling Records through BMG. And this is the third album from Germany's Milky Chance. And this finds the duo further expanding their electric folk and dance pop sound. The kind of, it's got that reggae, Afro-pop, Latin vibe that kind of makes you think of some of those classic 80s style performers like Sting and Peter Gabriel when they used to kind of fool around with that. But these guys got it down where they don't sound too overly influenced by that stuff. They are a dance pop duo, but they don't sound cloyingly 80s, It's sort of like, yeah, they've got like a love of various global music kind of traditions, and this is no exception. It kicks off with a song called Fado, and that's named after a lyrical Portuguese folk genre. It's one of their most out front homages to the style of this, and they managed to really grab the essence of that. They like fooling around with different stuff, and it's kind of outside of their own, what is it? What kind of, it captures the essence of that particular Portuguese folk style, stepping out of their usual, like I said, dance kind of folk pop, but they do a good job, okay? And they've also got a track here with Belgian singer Tammy Tan for the Afro pop electronica of the song called Rush. And South Africa, as you know, they have Ladysmith Black Mambazo, and they've got those warm honey tones, and they brought them in here too. To what song are they on? They're on one called Eden's House, and they also brought on board my girl Tash Sultana for a track on this as well. Mm-hmm. And it's a mid-tempo reggae kind of number called Daydreaming, and actually this is laid-back reggae rhythms kind of underpin a lot of this record. Anyway, it's worth checking out. It's $27.95. It's 2 LPs. Mind the Moon on smuggling records through BMG. Okay.
Cool. Does Tash play guitar on that song, or she sing too?
I think she's singing on it with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, now we're going to get to our list,
All right.
and we're starting out here. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, this is new material. Bonnie Prince Billy, who hasn't had new material in what, like 10 years, something like that.
It's been like a few years, and for some reason we tried listening to this on Spotify and it wasn't there, so we couldn't even hear it yet.
We heard a couple of, there was like a single or something. Well, anyway, there is a big story about this. I guess like he and I want to say, I don't know if it's his wife or his partner, they were in Hawaii as like resident artists, and then there was like immediately this evacuation notice that the volcano was going to blow. So I know. So they were sort of like, trapped, and they ended up kind of eating these THC laced blueberries because they thought, well, I don't want to waste it, So they thought they were going to go, but it turned out that everything was fine, and he started writing a song in the middle of that with the ending lyrics of "We're going to be fine." I know, it's so nutty. Well, anyway, he's got a lot going on. This guy. This is like the first music in I say like 10 years, and it's very hopeful, and yeah, it's worth a listen. It's kind of different. Like, I think that if you don't know him well, you automatically think of Cursed Sleep, which is like way, way different than this. Okay, so that's not kind of going to be in the flow. But anyway, check him out. This is $26.99.
Cool. All right.
Next up, we have James Brown live at home with his Bad Self. 2 LPs, $22.95. That's great.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, now we've got Molly Birch, Christmas album on gold vinyl, $18.95. Who is she?
I don't know. Name sounds familiar.
Doesn't look familiar.
I'm not sure who it is.
Okay. Now we've got a couple of picture discs. These are Eric Clapton, Behind the Sun, $20.95, and
Let's go.
and Money and Cigarettes, also a picture disc, $20.95. Okay.
Cool.
And I guess the back pictures are what the back of the records looked like, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
The guitar thing,
Little ironing board,
Dolly-like.
melted guitar, yeah.
Cool.
All right, now we've got the Dead Kennedys DK40. This is 3 LPs, $61.95. I guess this combines all the best of the Dead Kennedys, right?
Looks like it.
Awesome, yeah.
This is awesome. Yeah.
So they're much more than just Holiday in Cambodia.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Okay, now we've got DJ Shadow, Our Pathetic Age, 2 LPs for $25.95. Now listen. I am just about over it with this kind of stuff. I mean, this is such a vanity project at this point, Introducing was a great album. We said we liked that, but it's just been a steady thing of downhill. I don't know what this is trying to say. It's like 2 LPs of it too, and the first LP is just a lot of sounds, but it's not even in a way where, you could say, this is just for you to sit and chill. No, because it's like boom, 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 wee, wee. It's got like all this stuff going on where it's just like a bunch of stuff, and he's just making noise. I mean, I think you could train an ape to do it, right?
Oh man, yeah, it's I was not too pleased with it either. Although like we said, Shadow's output past decade, or maybe decade or two, has not been that great. So it's got features on it. It's got a shitload of features on it. Ghostface Killah, Run the Jewels. Who else is on it? Wiki, Raekwon, De La Soul. A bunch of people on it, but it doesn't really help at all too much. The problem is what made Introducing so great is he was just mixing like all the different genres of music that he loved at that time, which was a great period of music. But now he's trying to, I guess, incorporate modern day sounds in his sampling. And sometimes it's not even sample based anymore. It's just like weird techno breakbeat stuff that it's just a lot less unique and compelling than
it's not
his original
cohesive.
material.
It's not cohesive at all. And the first LP is just noise and sounds. Second side is the one with vocals, and I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Out of us,
no, I don't know what he's trying to do. Just disgust. Okay. Now we got Juliana Hatfield sings The Police. Oh my God, on blue vinyl, $24.95. So she's covering Police songs, and
cool.
I don't know. We haven't listened to that yet today, so I don't know. I'm a little afraid. I don't know.
Could be cool.
We'll find out. Okay, here we go. This is fun. Jackson 5, greatest hits, 1795, before
Nice.
MJ went the way of the dodo, I guess. You know, it's just,
He was just a young, innocent lad.
yeah, and that was all their big hits, because they certainly did have a lot. Okay,
Cool.
and that's 1795. That's pretty cheap, too.
That's a good price.
Okay, now we've got, Krallis.
Krallis.
Diatima, 2 LPs, $31.99. What's the story with this?
Krallis is another one of these Gilead Media metal releases. These aren't new though; these are all reissues, so I didn't want to talk about them too much.
Oh.
But another New York black metal act, very, very good, very consistent throughout their whole career, and this is all for their first 4 albums.
Oh, it's
We
just
only have
3.
though,
Oh,
but
okay.
First 3 albums.
All right.
So, and I think
All right.
Diatima is right here.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
go.
first one up. The second one is the self-titled, and that's also 2
My
LPs.
personal favorite.
That's $35.95. It's a little bit more expensive. too.
pricey.
Okay. Then we got Years Past Matter, $31.95.
A lot of people consider this one of the best black metal records of the decade.
Okay.
So,
So for some reason, the self-titled one, there's $4 more worth of
yeah,
entertainment
I
on
was
that
wondering
second one.
why that one was too. It's a little pricier.
That's
but
funny.
Who knows why?
Okay, and here we go. Lady Antebellum, Ocean LP, 1995. I'm not saying a word.
A new record too. So you could get that and their Christmas album.
Okay, and
You're
here's the
feeling it.
second part of this stack. Uh-oh, what are you doing, knocking it
Someone
down?
took a tumble.
Okay, try this pile here,
Take that
if
pile
you will.
over.
Okay,
Let's see.
oh, right, okay,
Over.
okay.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
Mogwai 10 Rapid. This is on colored vinyl. Is it red, I think? I'm not sure.
It doesn't say.
I thought it was. Okay, $21.99.
This is a really good post-rock EP. If you're a fan of post-rock, check it out.
Okay.
Oh, this one's banged up too.
Oh,
good.
okay. Wow, man. All right. Now we've got KCRW Session. Oh, nope, sorry. That was your other thing. Raised Fist Anthems on clear vinyl, $21.95. Who are Raised Fist?
I don't know. There's a picture of all of them, like
Okay.
all 5 of them on the back, and they all kind of look the same.
Oh, okay, well, it's on clear vinyl. All right.
Well,
Uh,
raise your fist.
All right,
guess.
Raised Fist. Okay, Anthems, so it sounds like it's very chest beating, raising your
Yeah.
fist, right?
Very masculine.
Okay, I
I'm
wonder.
sure.
Yes, it sounds very testosterone laced just by, by the title. All right, Rich Brian, the Sailor. I believe this guy is what, an internet sensation?
Yeah, well, he's an Indonesian rapper.
Okay.
Indonesian, which is pretty rare. And of course, 88 Rising, the label that he's on, has become very, very huge the past year. And of course, Joji as well on that label. So, yeah,
Well, this
Joji
is
and
called The
Rich Brian.
Sailor. It's 2 LPs and it's $36.95, which seems like, whoa, that's a few
It's a
bones
lot,
for
yeah.
that,
I
right?
think it's on yellow vinyl. It doesn't say it anywhere. Does it say it on there?
Now,
I think it is yellow vinyl too. So, check it out.
okay. Now we've got a soundtrack cast for John Wick Chapter 2. There's also Chapter 1 and 3, but they're not done being
find
unpacked yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is Tyler Bates and Jay Richard. What is that all about? Is
That's
that
the composer.
Okay.
The composer of the
2
soundtrack.
LPs, $27.95. I'm assuming the other 2 are going to be the same thing. You know, we always sell that to the John Wick stuff. Always we sell a lot of it to Europe. What is with that?
Yeah, that first John Wick soundtrack
All the time.
sells so much.
Every time I see it, though, it's going to Europe. It's very bizarre. But anyway.
Weird. I've seen the movie too. The soundtrack definitely doesn't like stand out to me as like some great piece
Me
of
too.
music.
I thought the same thing because
But-
I've seen them as well, and I was like, well, I don't know. There's a lot
Wasn't
going
paying
on in those
attention, I
movies.
don't
You're not paying attention to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've got another soundtrack cast for Steven Universe, the movie. This is $26.95.
Very cool.
Do you know about that movie?
Well, Steven Universe is a show on Cartoon Network, and I guess this movie just came out recently, so I haven't seen the movie. but
What kind of stuff would that be?
I'm not too sure. It's a good question.
Okay.
I guess it's an original soundtrack, so it must be pretty cool. Maybe some of the voice actors do some of the singing on it, I would imagine.
Oh,
But
alright.
Steven Universe, a lot of people consider one of the greatest cartoons of this decade, so
Okay.
although I've never personally seen it.
Now we got a couple of Sparks reissues for you. The first one is Gratuitous Sax and Senseless Violins. There's a regular LP is $24.95, but there's a deluxe expanded 2 LP for $31.95.
There we go, and that's what the cover looks like.
Okay, then we have Sparks Past Tense. This is Best of the Sparks, 3 LPs, $36.95. Now you see, that's pretty good. 3 LPs for $36.95. And what was that other one we were saying?
Krallisoff. It's the same
Yeah,
price.
yeah. Huh, okay. Now we have the Springfields singles, 1986 to 1991, $17.95. Okay. We've got Lindsey Sterling, Artemis on yellow vinyl, 2 LPs, $23.95. Now, she was one of those, America's Got Talent people?
Yeah, violin extraordinaire.
Yes. And she's kind of learned how to, incorporate different styles, but kind of an underlying of rock violin, I guess.
Yeah.
So what I understand from this is Artemis is her unleashing her inner goddess. She doesn't sing, so she's got to portray everything emotionally through this violin, which I guess, from what I understand, she does pretty well. But I want to say her father and her best friend kind of recently both passed away. So, she had a lot to get out. And that's what this is all about. And that is $23.95, 2 LPs, yellow vinyl.
Definitely surprising you with the anime-inspired album cover. Not expected that.
I think some of the video is also very theatrical, very costumey and stuff like that.
I dig it. I'll have to check it out.
All right, T.I. Trap Music. This is deluxe red and black 2 vinyls plus a 7-inch 2 LPs. What? $69.95.
It's a lot. Well, it's a box set.
Oh, it's
T.I.,
not.
the pioneer of trap music.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big deal, I guess.
Is that suede or does it look like it's suede, or is it actually?
Oh, I think it is.
Oh, really? It kind of reminds me of
Yeah, it
the
is.
Beach House
The
Depression
Beach House one,
Cherry. How,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Oh, all right.
Should be pretty
So it's
big
pretty,
release.
it's pretty deluxe. Okay. Oh, now we have the Tinder Sticks. No Treasure But Hope, 180 gram clear vinyl, $25.95. Now these guys sometimes get a little comparisons to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and you can definitely see that they've got some very dicey subject matter. But they're a good band. You know what I mean? It's kind of nice to have them back. They've been kicking around for a long time. And I believe that's a limited edition, isn't it?
Yeah. Crystal clear vinyl.
Okay, yeah.
Is this a new album?
Yeah.
It is. Oh, okay. Never heard of them.
Oh, God, you don't know the Tinder Sticks? Oh, they're great.
Check them out.
Okay.
They sound like Nick Cave.
Yeah, well, $25.95. Yeah, there's some comparisons. Now, sometimes the Bad Seeds don't quite get as, I don't know, I want to say with the music, they don't get as, well, how do I want to explain it? These guys are more lyrically and subject matter driven. That will get you to compare them to Nick and the Bad Seeds. And they're vocalists too, kind of, But the music itself, not so much. It's a little bit different.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the
Interesting.
love child of the Bad Seeds and who, I don't know. Well,
I'll have to check it out,
you
though.
have to see it. All right, now we've got the Tubes Completion Backwards Principle reissue on blue vinyl, $37.95.
Okay.
Turbo Negro, Apocalypse, Dudes, $23.95.
Cool.
Various Now Country Christmas on red vinyl, 2 LPs, $24.95.
Nice.
Two LPs of that,
Now
huh?
that's what I call country.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Check it out.
Who's on it?
Well, I see Rascal Flatts immediately, so it's gonna be a good time. Blake Shelton, Luke Bryan, Toby Keith,
Isn't this
George
Hootie and the
Strait.
Blowfish, though?
Darius Rucker, Vince Gill, all the big hitters. Carrie Underwood. What more could you ask for?
A Way Out.
No.
All right. Wasted, Electrified, $23.95. Okay.
That's it.
All right. I have to tell you that last week when I was talking to you and I said that M. Ward was dead, he's not.
I didn't even realize you
And-
said that at the time, and then
Yeah,
watched the video.
but I was sitting there thinking of, I was thinking in my head Jay Retard at the time. I don't know why, but we were sort of talking about death and people that had passed on, and I guess I sort of had that in my head. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. I didn't mean to imply that M. Ward's no longer
Ward's
with us.
watching that video. He's pretty pissed.
He's not, don't worry. But anyway, so somebody brought that to our attention. I thank you for that, because I hate making mistakes like that, but I just had Jay Retard on the brain. I don't know why. All right, so this weekend, 12 to 4, Saturday and Sunday. I don't think there's, let's see, Drums in Santa Cruz. Did that already happen?
I think that's coming up. That should be a good one. Unknown Mortal Orchestra is happening
Yeah.
in early December.
That's the one. And
that's a
oh
good
wait,
one.
and Dive. What about, did Dive already?
Dive, that's, I think that's December. That might have happened already, actually.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe not.
I think Drums was first, then Dive, and
Actually,
then an
Dive
Immortal.
is December. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that sounds right.
So yeah, we're got a couple of weeks of dry times, and then we'll get going again. So
Yeah.
all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And again, sorry, I'm Ward.